What's up YouTube, it's Coaster here, and today I'll be doing another pre-ranking video for the little series I have going on, but this time I'll be doing it for Six Flags Great Adventure, and I will be labeling it down to, or not labeling it, but limiting it down to 10 coasters, possibly 11 for like an honorable mention or something like that. But for the most part, I'm only going to do 10 because the other video got way too long, and I think that was like 15. Starting off the list, I have El Toro, which just seems to be the most elite coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure because it looks like it has a decent length to it. Also, it has the height and speed along with the airtime, and I just feel like it's going to be a really good ride, and it looks pretty smooth, and I hear the Rolling Thunder Hill is really intense, especially in summer months when the ride's warmed up and all that, which we would be going around June, the middle of June, early July type of trip, so I'm hoping that the ride will be running fast enough. But I think my favorite part of the ride is going to be the double camelbacks right after the main drop, and I will hopefully try to get a few rides on this ride just so I can take in a really good experience for it, at least once in the front and at least once in the back. In number 2, we have the Jersey Devil coaster, which just looks like it's going to be intense, not as intense as like the Raptor clones, but it will be another Raptor, so I'm expecting the pacing to be really good. I'm expecting all the airtime on it to be really good, and then I'm also expecting that hang time for the stall to be really good, which I'm not sure which one I like more, inversions or airtime, so I'm happy that this ride will have a combination of good hang time and good airtime, and I can't wait to experience it. Hopefully it is open by the time I get there, but the way Six Flags does their construction, you never know, but hopefully it will be open since it would have been around 2 years since they've been working on the project. In number 3, we have King the Ka, which just looks to be this really big gimmick for the launch and the height of the ride, but I do think I'll love the experience. I'm not sure which one I will like more with this and then the next spot, which will be Nitro, but out of these two right now, I do have King the Ka situated ahead of it due to that launch, because I have heard that the launch is in pulses, and I feel like it's going to be really cool being able to experience like basically like a phase, and I feel like I'll really enjoy it. And also, I feel like you can get some really good airtime going over the camelback at the end of the ride, and also going over the top hat. And I am hoping for a rollback just like everyone does, but I'm really praying that I can get at least one, and it depends because I will try to get the flash pass so we can ride this multiple times. But if we do get a flash pass, if we have unlimited uses for King the Ka, you can bet we're gonna ride it at least 4 times. Next up, we have Nitro, which is the Parks B&M Hyper Coaster, which I just think is gonna be really fun. I think that, or I heard that the airtime is gonna be pretty good. I think the airtime would be pretty good, but I also hear that it's one of the lower ranked B&M Hyper Coasters. But since the park doesn't seem like it has too big of a lineup, other than the top 3 attractions, I think this is a pretty good spot for being a hyper coaster. In number 5, we have Green Lantern, which is a B&M stand-up coaster, and I know most people don't really like B&M stand-ups or stand-ups in general, but personally I do like them. I mean, yeah, it is uncomfortable, but I if you know how to position yourself right, even though I've only ridden one B&M stand-up coaster, and that was Georgia Scorcher at Six Flags over Georgia. I kind of had like a method down pat where I left a bit of room so I could like bend down, and then it didn't really bother me in my crotch area, and therefore I learned to love the ride. And ever since I was younger, I've been interested in stand-up coasters because I always wondered what the forces would be like. And now that I experienced one, I loved it, and I think that I will love Green Lantern, which I also was supposed to ride Riddler's Revenge at Magic Mountain, but I wasn't able to due to it getting a repaint job when I went there. And I gotta say, I like the old paint job better than the new one. In my next spot, I'll have Bizarro, which Bizarro is a B&M floorless coaster. Personally, I never really saw all the hype with B&M floorless coasters. They've really never been anything too special in my book. I've ridden Kraken and Scream. Kraken at SeaWorld Orlando and Scream at Magic Mountain. And I'm pretty sure Bizarro is a mirror clone of Bizarro. And it's just, Scream wasn't anything too big for me, and I don't think Bizarro is going to be anything that big. And I'm going to be honest, at first I was kind of considering putting Superman Ultimate Flight ahead of Bizarro. In number 7, we have Superman Ultimate Flight, which is the parts being a flying coaster, which I have ridden a Superman Ultimate Flight clone, but it was the original, and that was Superman Ultimate Flight at Six Flags over Georgia. And I've also ridden Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. And personally, I learned to love being in flying coasters after I rode Superman Ultimate Flight due to the intensity. Back when I rode Manta in Orlando, I thought the being in flying coaster was just too much. Therefore, when I was at Magic Mountain, I kind of chickened out until I finally built up the courage to go ride it, and then the ride did go down for maintenance. But I have built up my tolerance, and now I have learned to love being in flying coasters. But fun fact, I've never ridden a B&M flying coaster in the back row. I have ridden one in like the third row, and that was Ultimate Flight. But on this trip, I do want to try Superman Ultimate Flight in the back row. In number 8, we have the Batman clone, which Batman the Ride is a pretty intense B&M invert. They're way more intense than you would expect. I've ridden 3 of these, being the one at Magic Mountain, over Texas, and over Georgia, with over Georgia's being the most intense, and over Texas being the least intense. But I do love these rides. I've never ridden one in the front row before, but I have ridden them in the back row. All of them, I've ridden them in the back row, and I do like the back row rides, and I do love the ride. And so I don't really mind having to ride another one of these just for the credit, but don't expect it to be another like go back just for this. Like if I'm on the other side of the park and then I'm like, oh, I'm looking for another intense experience, I'm probably not gonna go all the way back to the opposite side of the park just to ride Batman again. In number 9, we have Skull Mountain, which is this indoor roller coaster, and I've ridden Runaway Mine Train over Texas, and I really did like that ride, and surprisingly it was one of my most anticipated coasters for over Texas, because I did like the fact that you don't know what's gonna happen, or at least I didn't know because I didn't study the layout. And I do like my rides being in the dark because I like the element of surprise, and I just think that Skull Mountain is going to be a fun little ride. just a good one to rest on, and I think it's unique enough to be on this list. And in last place we have the Joker, which I've ridden the Joker over Texas, and it's not really much to say about it. It's a really fun ride in my opinion. I don't mind riding it again. I think we rode it twice for our trip since we did visit 2 days in a row, and I really did like it. It wasn't as intense as X2, which I have ridden, but it's also not like the weakest ride, and I think it's just fun. There's not really much to say about it, and I don't think I have enough experience with the ride to go too into detail about it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind riding the Joker again. And that'll do it for this video. This is Kosatori, and if you liked it, please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Follow my Instagram at thrilling_nation. I also will be making more videos for this list, and I am planning on uploading around 2 videos a week now that I've kind of found out a little groove for me to go with, at least with me doing school and all that. But anyways, this is Kosatori signing off.